In 1763, France signed a piece of paper and walked away from a vast continent. The 7 Years' War was over. Britain had won the global struggle for power. With a single treaty, every French claim east of the Mississippi passed to the crown. This included the land that would one day become the bustling city of Chicago. On paper, it was one of the largest land transfers in all of human history. But on the ground, at the Chicago portage, almost nothing changed for the local people. There were no British soldiers marching into the deep, untamed wilderness of the interior. No ceremony took place. No flag was planted in the mud at the river crossing. The French traders who lived and worked here mostly stayed in their established homes. The canoe routes remained open. The beaver pelts kept moving through the forest networks. The Potawatomi had built alliances with the French for nearly a full century. They simply waited to see what the British would actually do in their territory. Britain had just won the largest empire in the world, yet they were truly lost. They had no idea how to manage this vast, rugged, and wild new territory. The land around Chicago was not a colony. It was not a permanent settlement. It was a wilderness corridor, a vital trading network for those who knew the land. The people who actually controlled it were not European at all, but indigenous nations. The Potawatomi controlled the portage. They controlled the river routes and the vital access. They held the keys to the entire upper Great Lakes region, and Britain knew it. So instead of conquest, the British tried something very unusual for their imperial time. They tried diplomacy. British officers met with Potawatomi leaders to discuss the future. They offered gifts. They promised to respect the existing trade relationships that defined life. They called themselves allies, not rulers. For a time, it worked quite well. Both sides needed each other to survive in the harsh realities of the frontier. The fur trade did not care who was king. It ran on trust and relationships. It relied on the knowledge of who paddled which river and where the trapping was. Britain needed the Potawatomi to make the system function. The Potawatomi were willing to deal, but the ground was shifting beneath everyone's feet as the world began to change. To the east, 13 British colonies were getting restless, seeking their own independent path. By 1775, they were at war with Britain. By 1783, they had finally won. The Treaty of Paris handed the Illinois Territory to a brand new, young country. The United States of America now claimed Chicago, though they had no capital yet. Except, just like the British before them, they did not really own anything yet. The Potawatomi were still here, still in control of the rivers and the land. They were still the most powerful force in this region, watching the new nation. They watched with the same careful, patient attention they had given every empire before. 3 flags had now claimed this land: France, Britain, and the United States. None of them had built a single structure here. None had planted a crop. None had laid a road. But that was all about to change very soon. The United States was hungry for land in a way that France never was. They were hungry in a way that Britain never was during their brief tenure. In a few years, they would send soldiers to the Chicago portage to stay. They would not come to trade. They would come to build, govern, and expand. The era of the wilderness corridor was ending. The era of the city began. Episode 6 is where everything changes. The transition from wilderness to urban center starts. This has been the Chicago Cipher. We explore the history most people never hear. We are telling Chicago's story. Every corner of this city holds a hidden truth. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next in our historical journey. The maps are changing. The flags are shifting. The future is being written now. From the portage to the skyscrapers, the story of Chicago is a complex tale. We look at the people who walked these paths long before the concrete arrived. The rivers still flow as they did when the Potawatomi paddled their birch canoes. The wind still blows through the trees, whispering the secrets of the past centuries. History is not just a collection of dates. It is a living, breathing narrative. Join us as we uncover the layers of time that built this great city. The Chicago Cipher continues. Stay tuned for the next chapter of our epic story. The wilderness is fading. The frontier is closing. The modern age is approaching fast. Thank you for watching this episode. We appreciate your interest in our shared history. The next episode will reveal the soldiers and the fort that changed everything forever. The Chicago Cipher, uncovering the truth behind the city that rose from the mud.